Hello, friends. Welcome to GK Sports India YouTube channel. And this is your favorite, the Kumbi Jiku Show. First such show of this new year, and wishing you all viewers a very happy, prosperous, safe, healthy 2026 and best wishes from G. Krishnan and our in-house expert K. Srinath, player turned umpire. Happy New Year, Sri. Happy New Year to you and all your family members. All the best for the new year ahead. How have you been?
Thank you, Jiko, reciprocating the wishes and wishing all our viewers a very happy and prosperous new year. Yeah, it's been a year since we caught up. So must have been, sometime in the third week of December. But
That's
anyway,
right.
that's how it's panned out. Nothing much that has happened, Jiko. It's been a pretty dull period because the men's team has taken a break post the T20 series against South Africa. But towards the end of the year, it was the girls in blue who hogged the limelight. They were involved in a bilateral which involved five T20Is against Sri Lanka. So I think it was a fitting end to what has been a wonderful year for women cricket. That's what was, keeping me a bit interested, but more or less a lot of lopsided games, and India looked aside, which was quality side by a mile.
Certainly, yes. And India were expected to win comfortably against Sri Lanka, and they did so 5-0 in the recent five T20Is. That certainly augurs well for Harmanpreet Kaur and co. As we have already entered the year of the T20 Women's World Cup to be held in June in England, and India have 6 T20Is before that, 3 in Australia in February, followed by 3 in England just before the World Cup. So 2 tough opponents that should give them the required preparation going into the T20 World Cup, isn't it?
Absolutely, because playing at home would just boost their morale, and literally whiplashing the Sri Lankan girls would give them a lot of confidence. Having said that, the T20 World Cup is due to be held in England in June, for which the preparation certainly is going to be different. And as you mentioned, India tees off by playing 3 T20Is in Australia. Then they come back and travel to England, which would be an ideal preparation, play 3 T20Is before the start of the World Cup. That would give them a hang of the conditions in England. It's going to be chalk and cheese, the conditions in the subcontinent and England. Yes, the resurgent Indian side, obviously the confidence of waiting top sides in the World Cup, and this 5-0 bilateral victory against Sri Lanka would have brought a lot of confidence to this Indian side.
And going back to England for the World Cup, one cannot forget the 50-over World Cup in 2017, where they just missed out by whisker, losing in the final. It would be an ideal, complete circle with India going and winning, because it's more or less the same squad that won the 50 overs World Cup in October, November in India, isn't it? Except for 2 changes or 2 names that we saw that didn't play in the 50 over World Cup that was part of the recent T20 series. So more or less it's the same squad, and that should be giving them the confidence to excel and do something that they have not achieved ever before, not winning a T20 World Cup.
I mean, G. Kamalini from Tamil Nadu, the 17-year-old girl, and Vaishnavi Sharma from Madhya Pradesh.
That's right.
Both of them, prodigies who did play for India under 19. And what is heartening to see is their domestic performance has been rewarded. And, they were drafted in to play in this bilateral series against Sri Lanka. Kamalini did get a game in the last T20I, whereas Vaishnavi Sharma was part of all the 5 games she played. And happy to see her, display the sort of maturity you normally don't associate with 18, 19-year-old kid. But look like, after Sri Charni, what she did achieve in the 50-over ODI World Cup for India, I think there's no dearth of left-arm spinners, because Radha Yadav was not a part of the squad, and of course Pratika Rawal did miss out because of the injury. She is still recovering. So which gave an opportunity to both Kamalini and Vaishnavi Sharma. It's again a happy headache, I would say, having three quality left arm spinners. Maybe the edge Radha Yadav would have is because of her superlative fielding, and she can be dangerous low down the order. So with a pool of three left arm spinners to pick moving forward to the World Cup, that's a very good sign for India. And yes, you said it was more or less the same squad that played in the World Cup, barring the two changes. Hopefully, fit Pratika Rawal uh, for the World Cup. Will they look at her? Because she's not played that much of T20 cricket. We've looked at her prowess more in the 50-over format. But overall, I think 6 months leading into the World Cup, I think India has zeroed in on a good pool of players, at least 18, 20 players whom they would like to look at. Uh, as we discussed, six more games before, opportunities could be provided, and then they can finalize their 15 plus name five standbys in case there's going to be any injuries during the World Cup for a replacement.
Yeah, these six T20s apart for this Indian women's team, they will not be short. They will not be falling short of match practice because the WPL will be held in January, February. So that will give them also sufficient game time and also give wider pool of players for the selectors to choose from. Should somebody excel in this WPL in particular, isn't it?
It's a golden opportunity for many of these girls to showcase their talent. And like in the past, we've seen 18 editions of IPL has provided some fascinating talent to Indian cricket in the men's domain. The same is a possibility with the Women Premier League also, because they're going to rub shoulders with the who's who in world cricket, barring a few of the elite players missing out on personal reasons from Australia. I think most of the top players are available. Yes, again, a T20 World Cup around the corner, and
Hmm.
what better game time would you require than playing the Women Premier League? It's an opportunity for the certainties in the side to continue the rich vein of form, as you mentioned about the fringe players who could be a part of the 20 member squad can put up a good performance here to press a claim for the squad. Very very apt situation, I would say, to prepare, get good game time before getting into the World Cup. Having said that, I think it's also important for most of the players to ensure they take care of the physical side pretty well, because we cannot afford injuries at this point in time before getting into a World Cup. Like we saw the unfortunate injury that Pratika Rawal had to undergo during before the semi-final,
Right.
and luckily we had the replacement who came in and pulled the rabbit out of the hat and won the World Cup for India in the young Shafali Wama. So yes, as you mentioned, WPL post this, it's just around the corner in January. The players will be busy for a month's time. Then they take a break and they have these two series coming up before the World Cup.
Yeah, you just touched upon Shafali Verma and her performance, especially in the final of the 50-over World Cup. She has been continuing that form and she's playing her favorite format and aptly the player of the series in the recent concluded series against Sri Lanka. So that is something which is an encouraging sign for Harmanpreet Kaur and the team, isn't it? And of course, having Smriti Mandhana at the top, the two of them, both attacking players, and giving that positive start is what India will be looking from these two, especially Shafali Verma.
True, Shafali has been in fine form, and you nailed it, saying it's her favorite format. Not the swiftest of runner between the wickets. She deals in boundaries, and what better? Playing a 120 ball game is like that much easier for her rather than the 50 over or a test match cricket for women. Yeah, she's been in fine form, and she did show a lot of maturity in the way she played in this particular series against Sri Lanka. No wonder she was the player of the series. And what augured well was also we have to mention this Smriti Mandhana going past 10,000 international runs in such a short span and such a young age. I mean, she's got a lot of cricket left in her, and once she decides to hang up her boots, I think she would have astronomical numbers against her name. Touch wood, we don't see any sort of injury pulling her back. So I think India ticked most of the boxes in this recent series. Maybe they were not pushed, to the wall wherein they had to be tested at any given point in time. But nevertheless, 5-0 whitewash is a 5-0 whitewash, which would give this particular team a lot of confidence moving forward.
And this 5-0 whitewash doesn't happen so often. It was only the third time in Indian women's history that they have won a 5-match series, clean swept a 5-match series, and the first ever time in India. So that's something that is very encouraging for Harmanpreet Kaur. Overall, looking back at this particular series against Sri Lanka, you said India have ticked all the boxes right. It was also encouraging to see the bowlers share the workload, isn't it? It was in one match, it was Renuka Singh Thakur, but the spinners shared the spoils, winning it for India. How encouraging was it to see this bowling effort do collectively well?
Deepti Sharma, as always, she's gone past everyone in world cricket, and she's become the highest wicket taker in the T20 format. Two left-arm spinners doing reasonably well, Vaishnavi Sharma and Sri Charni. We had rotation of the three fast bowlers. We started off with Arundhati Reddy and Kranti Gaur. Renuka Singh Thakur came in the last couple of games. Yeah, it's pleasing to know. But my only look at is the cause of concern is India's fielding. They looked a bit patchy in the first couple of games. Could be due to dew factor, fielding, outfield catches going down. Some of the ground fielding was left a lot to desire. But that's one area where India would certainly look to up their ante and look like an outfit that is possessed. Because if you need to cross the line and be on the podium on the winning side, you certainly need to be a good fielding unit. Yeah, the bowling side looks a well-knit one, because England will certainly provide ample opportunities for the faster bowlers to showcase their abilities there. So beyond these three fast bowlers, plus Amanjot Kaur, we always know that she's a handy roll order batter, plus she's good enough with the ball. I think more or less India has zeroed in on most of their bases. So if at all they can find somebody who's good enough with the new ball, they could present themselves an opportunity, because, mind you, the World Cup is in England. Else, I think more or less this side has a settled look. And as I mentioned earlier, Pratika Rawal, if she is fit enough and comes back, will she be given a look in to this format? That's something we need to wait and watch.
And talking about Pratika Rawal, the talking point during the World Cup 50-over format that she played in, it was her strike rate that was a concern, but she kept on getting better and better. And at one stage, we felt, why couldn't she be playing in T20 format? So that was what Pratika Rawal was. And hopefully, if she gets fitter and is back to her full fitness, it's a question of whether, like you said, she gets a game time. But overall, looking at it, you mentioned about the fielding, which is a concern. Any other areas or any other details in particular, especially, or be it the fast bowling or the spin bowling, that you are still India needs to still work on, or the middle order, or any other format, any other department?
The batting more or less has a settled look, and the top 3-4 is well settled. We've got Shefali, Smriti Mandana, Jemima has found a place to bat at number 3, and she's done really well in the T20 format. We have the captain walking in at 4. Then we've got Richa Ghosh, Amanjot Kaur. This looks, a settled sort of batting unit. And how many bowlers will India play is the question mark. So if India decides to go in, because Deepti Sharma is indispensable, so it will be up to one left-arm spinner or two, or will they play 3 fast bowlers? So the hunt would be if India can, look at somebody like a Pooja Vastrakar. She's been off the radar for quite some time. If she can have a good WPL, or if they can unearth some raw talent who can really bowl upfront with the new ball, would be something that this current setup would be looking at. Obviously, they can't afford to have 4 or 5 spinners in the squad, because they are touring England for the World Cup. If it were to be in the subcontinent, like we had that many spin options because we played in India and Sri Lanka, which did favor us. So obviously, that's one area where they would, try to look at some player who could be accommodated. Rest, otherwise, I think, as I mentioned, 15 to 18 players already have been zeroed in. So rest is about 2 or 3 players whom they can look at. Maybe in the longer run can be groomed, and if they are found good during this WPL, they could be given a run in either one of the series when they either play in Australia or in England.
Certainly, and yes, hopefully India have done it in 50 overs format very recently, and I see no reason why they can't do it in the shortest format, the T20 World Cup, which is in June in England, and they are getting ready for that series in Australia and series in England. You can't get any better preparation than these two tougher opponents. On that note, and of course, having a close eye on the WPL starting on 9th of January. First leg in Navi Mumbai, Dive Patel, and of course the second half in Baroda. We'll keep an eye on that, and of course India tour of Australia will be keenly followed. Thank you very much, Sri. Fantastic thoughts, and especially this women's cricket, which is only rising and rising, and hopefully this new year 2026 will see India lift what they have not done in the T20 format. Thank you very much. See you soon. All the best. And wishing our viewers again a very happy and successful 2026. Thank you, Sri. Bye bye.
Ajiko.